Okay, hi everyone. Thank you for bearing with us through our technical difficulties. Satu and I have come over to Zoom now, and we're doing a recorded session rather than the Facebook Live. So thank you for bearing with us, and thank you for everyone who tried to join earlier on. So today, because obviously you've been keeping an eye on my Facebook page, so you know what all this is about already. But today we are live with Satu from Northern Light Therapeutic Services. You can see her below. She is one of my clients, and I've known her for a lot of years now, but she's recently started working with me since I started the Content Quarter. She basically started Northern Light Therapy Services a number of years ago, but she's now just taking steps into full-time self-employment. So that's always a big scary step for everyone, I think, isn't it? So, you know, basically I'm helping her through that and talking her through websites and social media and things like that. So I thought basically what Satu does is she, as the name suggests, it's therapeutic services. I'll let her talk through it in a little while, but I've had a couple of sessions with Satu in the past. She basically does things like hypnotherapy and neuro-linguistic programming and lots of clever therapy-based stuff like that to help people overcome a lot of issues, you know, perhaps stopping smoking or perhaps reaching a goal or being more positive, things like that. So I thought she would be a fantastic person to kind of come on and chat with my lovely viewers about, and she's going to, I've asked her to come on and walk us through some different techniques to help a lot of my self-employed followers there. So I'm going to introduce Satu there. So hello Satu, you're live now.
Hi, I have to say that you're breaking up a little bit. I can't always hear you, but I trust you said nice things.
Sounds is okay at my end, and to be fair, I think that's the least of our technical difficulties today. So hopefully we'll be fine. So so yeah, I wanted everyone to meet you and to hear your lovely calming voice, and you know, hopefully you'll be able to guide some of my followers through some issues. So do you want to say a little bit about yourself and your business first before I ask you a couple of questions?
Oh yeah, of course. Right. My name is Satu. It's a Finnish name. I've lived in Newcastle over 20 years now. I used to be an archaeologist long time ago, and I've been a counsellor. I'm still a counsellor, registered counsellor. I am clinical hypnotherapist. I am master NLP practitioner, and a long time I have had my private business alongside a lovely permanent part-time work as a college counselor, which I loved being. Mm-hmm. But this year the life is changing as it ought to do. It does that every day anyway. So I'm stepping out, and I have to tell you a big news actually. This is a momentum day to be interviewed about the how to find your own way to grow organically with your business, as just today the resignation letter for my ready and regular paycheck landed on the table. Wow. To the head office, and having a fully present Northern Light therapy lady.
Amazing, amazing.
What's more amazing, I just realized when I was listening what I could hear from you, Vicky. Do you know, Vicky, who was my first paid client?
Oh, was that me many years ago?
Right. It's fantastic to have this chat with you.
No, well, it seems like everything's come together today then, because my my Friday focus for Fridays, I try to do this every Friday, is It's basically a thing on Facebook where I make all the focus on your business, or whoever's watching. And today I'm asking them about what their business goals are. So you coming together with your resignation from your day job and taking steps into full-time self-employment it's just the universe does that, doesn't it? It pulls us together.
Yes.
So I wanted to basically ask you today, because I deal with a lot of businesses who are either they're just starting out and they need some sort of guidance or help to succeed, or maybe businesses who've been going for quite a while and they're either making a change or they're just stuck in a rut and they want to sort of make an extra push somehow. And I think that's happened to a lot of people during COVID-19 actually, because they are they're very it's made us think. This downtime has made us think a lot and reassess and what have you. So yeah, I deal with a lot of businesses like that want to push themselves forward. Perhaps they're not sure how, but I thought it might be helpful to speak to you to see if you had any helpful tips or techniques to kind of help people do that with either setting goals or dealing with the emotional side of it. So over to you. If you've got any help, that would be great.
Oh, I do, and you keep me at the clock because I have so much about. Obviously, I have been on this journey myself as a small business owner, and I also, through my own sessions with my clients, I've had the experience from different point of view, how to help and what happens to all of us, because everyone, there is no one person who has not been affected by all of this.
Yeah.
So I thought that perhaps it would be the most congruent to tell a little bit about what has really helped me and model it in a way that anyone can try how it could work for you. Because for me, that within the last 4 weeks, I have had the most accelerating journey of the expansion of what happened to me. Because yes, because 4 weeks ago, when we started to talk about my logos and my website, I had not really thought of seriously leaving the college, even though the framework and the setup and the increased number of clients was there already anyway, but it wasn't in here, inside of me. And what I learned was one of the most biggest insight was that when we talk about the business, my business, this, that, and that, I've always sort of, my language structure has distanced myself from my business. And I've also noticed like a little things that really bring it home is that we talked about this a lot, that I have lots of people who engage with me on my personal page. I mean, it's not trick at all. It's easy as anything to generate big discussions and engage people on my personal page. But then I put something onto my business page. Now this is changing because of a lot of support that I've got from you, Vicky. But it is much harder, or has been, to get that activity and people talking to you via your business page. Now, obviously, I'm handless with technology. That's why I'm so lucky to have you, Vicky. But the other thing, on top of all these amazing techniques that you've given to me, is that I realize that I need to own my business as me. I need to understand that I won't be able to please anybody, and neither do I need to. And but I do need to understand that there will be always other people who will offer same services as you do. But there nobody else that can offer you. So
Very
what
cool.
started from that, yeah, just like you are amazing. You,
Oh.
yes, you are. And I think that was the first biggest insight. That was definitely the first biggest insight that I realized that I need to push on those self-limiting old beliefs that do not work so well anymore, and just experiment with them. Almost go fishing and find them. Find the things that you feel wobbly and do them anyway, because nothing's gonna happen. Just take the step and see how far you can go by pushing those limits further and allow people to see you, because really it's not the Facebook advice, it's not the Canva tutorial that makes me to come back to you. It's the connection that you can only get with the person who reveals some part of themselves, because you can't connect with nothing. You can connect with human. And I know in therapy business is a bit different, but it's the same with every other business. You see, you're doing my website, and I remember the first meeting we had the connection. You took time to listen, and of course we know anyway, but I knew that when I give this to you, you are going to connect and make it to look like me. And that is what brings people to you. Your story doesn't even have to be always written in words. It's just you.
So absolutely, I think the person behind the business, isn't it? I mean, I'm always telling people about their social media. People want to see the person behind the business, but I think you yourself, like you say, need to realize that you are your business, and it's a mindset change, isn't it?
Well, it is, because I used to have this thing that I used to cover from the word to say business. Even saying business, I was a little bit like Sarah Millican saying, well, I can't say it or no, but you know. So I would say I have a business. I don't do it anymore because, yes, because the thing is that until you know it's not real, you act as if it is. And we talked about this before, but until you think that you are not big enough or clever enough or worthy enough or pretty enough or whatever it is to be the forefront of your business, you will act as if it is true. But of course it's not. It's not true. We create our
if you believe it, it will happen, because I remember when I was first starting out in business almost 10 years ago now. I can't believe that, with my floristry business. I got advice from Business Link, the government agency, who sadly don't have advisors anymore. They don't exist because of cutbacks. But one of the best bits of advice my business advisor gave to me at the time was that she said she'd done some sessions with NLP, the neuro-linguistic programming, in the past, and she basically said to me, look, if you believe it, if you think it will happen. Your brain will automatically engineer your life to go in that direction. So I guess that's a bit of what you're saying, isn't it?
It is. It's totally. It is that. And you see, if you take the NLP frame, this is a very nice little technique that can that people can experiment and increase the power on their own innate ability to create their reality, because we do that anyway, all of the time. It is our beliefs that we believe are true that reinforce our picture of the reality. Now, for example, Has it ever happened to you that you would like to buy, I don't know, whichever color car you like, yellow, and suddenly you start to see them everywhere? Everybody has a yellow car.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, that happens all the time. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, what would it be like if you would start to channel that expectation on something much more beneficial for you than seeing yellow cars? and I am a great believer of experimenting, probably because of the NLP, but also because it has worked for me. So I have experimented with picking up one thing that I'm going to sort of tune myself to really notice my joy of the day. Simple thing, very simple thing, but just try it one day and notice what happens. How many more joyful moments, even tiny little ones, how joyful it is when your egg goes completely nicely on the frying pan and there is no eggshell bits in it. If you started your morning by focusing on joy in its all colors, you will notice it more.
I think you're right, absolutely, yeah. But it's harder for some people than others, but if you start with little things like that, then it's not as big of a task, and it sort of builds up, doesn't it? In terms of business, you know, I guess, you know, you could start patting yourself on the back for little things, you know, the small successes, small wins, because you're not going to kind of come out and be Richard Branson straight away within your first few weeks of business. It's those little wins. It's, you know, maybe reaching the 100 followers milestone on Instagram, or maybe you've just dealt with a customer particularly well that day, or you've got your first wedding order in, or, you know, something. It's you know, absolutely, you know, take notice of those joyful moments. I couldn't agree more. So yeah, sorry, I think I sort of interrupted you there, but you can carry on.
It's fine, it's lovely, it's great. I want to inspire people. If I inspire more ideas, that is exactly what I want to do. And in fact, by you saying that inspired me to share another little technique. Is the gratitude. Gratitude has a great transformational power. And what it does is, if we practice it consistently, it can change a way how we feel. And it's like, it's again a little bit of NLP, what your advisor said, what you look for. The idea is that your brain is really powerful, and it works very well when you set your intentions on a positive way into what you want instead of what you don't want. It engages your brain much more. And when you practice the practice of gratitude, and again, it's right what you say, it's not easy for everybody straight away. It certainly wasn't for me. But gratitude can be in anything. It doesn't have to be about your business, because remember, you are your business.
Yeah.
So when you feel good, your business is doing better as well, because you will feel different in terms of, do you have the energy to go and talk to people in the network? Do you feel like this is your day when you want to go to your Facebook and send that message or ask that question and facilitate and nurture your people? And one way how you can start to build the better feeling inside of you is, again, this is really very simple. Start to write 3 things in here and now. It's very mindful technique about aspects of your sensory experiencing in this very moment that you can feel gratitude for. And it doesn't have to be a great gratefulness. It doesn't have to be a huge little thing that I'm grateful because I have my children, which I am. I'm grateful because I live in a safe house. I am. But that's what this is about. It's about being able to find the gratitude, the good things in your right given moment. Like, for example, now, I can feel gratitude that we have Zoom because the live
Yes.
I definitely feel gratitude of my wonderful green woolly socks that I absolutely love.
It
And
sounds comfortable.
I also feel gratitude for the soft sensory feeling of the carpet that it gives to me. Now you see, these are really simple sensory sensations in the present moment. But when you start to do that consistently and effortfully, 3 aspects, 3 times a day, within 3 weeks, it's going to create a momentum. And you know, when it becomes your routine, there will be days when it's not that fun. There will be days when it's quite hard and even annoying to do so. But in those moments, it's even more effective to take your notebook or your phone, write down 3 things. And you know what? They can well be that, well, I feel gratitude for evening, so this horrible day will end soon. I feel gratitude of the fact that this time will flow too. This is just a moment and feeling. And if nothing else, the third can be, I feel gratitude for the fact that it's not worse. Now, this
Absolutely.
is not a great moment for anyone to experience, but we all have those moments sometimes. And if you then have created your power to create that view on that really dark moment, you have a great catalog in your notebook to show how, look, you flow through that moment, and you've used your innate power to move through every moment. And when you have that inside of you, well,
I guess you can look back and see all of these lovely moments that have happened that you're grateful for. So it's a great tip actually, to keep a note of these things and not just think them, but like you say, it's important to sort of take notice of what's happening in the moment, isn't it? It's not just general gratitude or general feelings, it's what's happening right now. And one thing I remember from our sessions that we had years ago as your first paying client, was that, you know, one of the best tips you give me was to just think about what's happening right now. You know, bring it back. It could be like there's a breeze hitting your face, or, you know, things like that. So definitely what's happening right now. I mean, in terms of people hitting their business goals, you know, say if they're just starting out and they say, I'm a big believer in setting goals for a start. I think, you know, be realistic about them. You know, they call it SMART goals. So so if you know, say in a year's time you wanted to be in a certain position in business, or you wanted to gain a contract with a local hotel, or, you know, whatever it might be, you know, make them as big or as small as you want, but make them realistic. And I'm a big believer in that, and kind of, you know, I think your mind sort of goes in that direction. So it's good to kind of hear you say that as well. I think, I mean, first of all, have you got any more tips before I move on to my second question? Or
No, you know that I could talk for England with tips and techniques. So it's great. You keep us right, and let's move on.
I myself in sometimes, but yeah, I get very passionate about what I do, so it's I have to kind of stop myself sometimes. So yeah, I mean, that's great advice for people setting goals. I'm sure my followers will find that useful. What I wanted to also ask you was that basically, as you know, we've all gone through a very strange time this year, both business-wise and professionally and personally. Sorry. You know, COVID-19 is shaken everyone. I think it's shaken us up in our businesses, in our personal beliefs, in our personal lives, and it's I think we're going to look back on this as you know, as a very strange year indeed. But you know, we're at a point now where businesses are starting to you know, reopen and what have you, which is a great step forward. But I think people are still very scared. Times are still very uncertain. So do you have any tips for helping business owners cope with that sort of feeling?
I do, and of course, it is right that everybody has been affected, and it's different for everybody. So I wish I would have a magic wand that would be good for everybody. So I recognize that the things that I say to this may not ring the bell for everybody, but what I've genuinely found from my own experiences and from my clients' experiences is that when this happened, it has, and I know it's not like a greatest opportunity universe has given to us. People have suffered in a very real and horrific and tragic ways, but also it has, like you said, make people to reassess, review the values and review what we want from life. I guess that's what happened to me with my decisions, and also some things have changed. So there are new skill sets that can become much more useful than they used to be. For example, we're using now Zoom. Everybody, not everybody, but many people have become Zoom savvy, which wasn't the
yeah, nobody heard of Zoom a few months ago.
Exactly. So there are also room for transforming and moving, finding what is best way for you to move, because this is what you've been doing as well. I mean, a wedding florist, you have transformed and moved forward. Now, this is easy thing to say. Well, how does one do that? Well, what I have learned that has definitely helped me and many clients and business people, I can say it nowadays, around me, is a couple of things. And I think this could be really helpful because you can form it and use it in a way that is best for you. But I would like you to consider thinking 5 people or groups of people. For example, there could be a group of your clients, there could be a group of the network, it could be your coach, it could be your spouse. But what I would like you to think is 5 resources, groups of people or individuals that are your links, your business links, your connection. Yes, that's the right word. Think of connections with 5 people or groups of people and write down what do you value of these people or groups professionally and personally. Because when you do that, you're going to be surprised how much do you have around you of people who can help you or who are ready-made amplifiers for your message, whatever it is, because people are different, our businesses are different, and our messages are definitely individuals. So just like, for example, what happened to me, how did I accelerate my journey within those 4 weeks, was that I did exactly this. That's what I did. Because you see, I am blessed by having you. It's, you know, I'm useless and handless in technology, and I'm not ashamed to say it. However, I'm moving and learning.
Yes.
Absolutely. But I had someone who was able to push me and coach me in a way that was alien for me. You know, the get my head around that the logo is different than the pretty picture of the Scandinavian fjord. Things like that. So that's the one thing for me. I have a coach who gets you is one thing. Then also, well, because of my therapy background, I also have had this amazing journey acceleration because of Julie Brown, there's no shame in blogging, who has helped me to step into the light as who you are. Because some people like it, some people won't. So what?
Yeah, that's it. You're not going to please everyone.
Exactly. But if you don't do that, those people who would like it, they didn't see anything because you weren't there. You had some sort of business that you tried to make it like to represent what you thought that it should represent, but it wasn't you. So I have found 2 coaches that have helped me in different ways, because you two are very different, with different expertise that you both have then helped me to see more viewpoints, which is this 5 persons exercise aim as well. Because if I had these 2 now, this wonderful Vicky and this wonderful Julie Brown, I still have 3. And I had my clients, all the clients that you have had who had loved you, they still go around in this world, and when their friends go and get married, well, your people are going to be your messengers in the world.
Absolutely.
And when you see that, you might have known it, I might have known it before, but when I wrote it down and I saw it, I realized, well, what will you do with it? How could you engage it? How could you engage people who you have helped and they appreciate what you have to offer? How could you still keep them with you? For example, could you have a Facebook group? Could you offer them something? Sell without selling. Offer them something that they can see what you have to offer. So they may go and tell about you. Then obviously, all the your friends, your family, don't be ashamed to advertise yourself or your friends to everywhere all the time, which I just did. I'm modeling. So and networking sites, because they are great place to go and experiment with your own limiting beliefs, because it is, because I have joined into business networking sites many times in my life and felt so uncomfortable. Like my digestive system has gone into millions of knots, and I have most certainly was not going to put, hello, I'm Satu, thank you for the joy.
Yeah. It takes you out of your comfort zone, doesn't it?
It does, but when I push those limiting self-beliefs away and join into a group, and I blocked you in there today. So if there's anybody listening from Mums in Business International Network and Gateshead, here I am.
You are watching.
And because I went there with different kind of mindset, some I got from you, some I knew that I've already had. Julie was there as a leader, so I went there with different expectation. What you said, what you expect, that's what you get. So I went there as me, and I realized that I'm in a business network without feeling any trepidation. And those groups are great, because what I've also learned, and you might have noticed that as well, that I used to pally only with the NLP practitioners, clinical hypnotherapists. Well, you know what?
They're not going to buy your product because they're already NLP practitioners.
Exactly. They don't need me to create mindfulness, setting your intuition, setting your goals in the morning, because they're already doing it. Like you, when you were a florist, well, your florist friends didn't need your flowers because they had loads of them on their back room as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's always very good to, you know, be friends with people like that, because I think you have to work together as an industry. I think, I'm not sure about your industry, but I know that floristry and business in general can be very, very competitive, and, you know, people are very on guard, and, but I love when you're dealing with the communities like with my wedding floristry business, it's so good to know other wedding suppliers, because I think that's where a lot of referrals come from. You know, for a photographer, for example, is meeting with a client and they'll say, oh, you haven't got your florist yet. Oh, Vicky's amazing. I've worked with her on all, you know, that sort of thing. So word of mouth is fantastic. But yeah, I think, you know, I love, yeah, I'm aware that you have a client to see to very shortly, because you're a very popular lady. So I loved your tips about the 5 things, you know, to sort of help people cope. Think about 5 things that you do have, you know, right now. What I would say to anyone else watching this is that, you know, Satu is available for private sessions, which is an excellent coach. She's a very grounded, very calming lady. She has just started a new group, so if you go onto her Northern Light Therapeutic Services Facebook page, you'll see announcements for that very shortly. And that is with it's like a monthly membership basis, so you can you have access to 2 very, very calming and videos, you know, a morning video and an evening video, and she'll tell you all about it. She'll be much better at telling me about it, but you know, she started things like that, but she also does private sessions, and she's very, very good. I know that from personal experience. So whatever you're going through with business, she will be able to help you, as will I'm sure. So I can help you practically, Satu can help you emotionally. So yeah, thank you very, very much, Satu. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties earlier, but I really appreciate you taking time out from your other clients to join us today. And I hope the rest of your appointments go well and you have a lovely weekend.
Oh, thank you so much, Vicky. And yes, you are the most amazing mistress of colors. That's how I call you.
That's a good name for me.
It is that connection. It's connection with you, it's connection with your clients, and it's connection with someone who is building your website that is looking like you, because then your clients will see you in your true colors.
It's all option, is it? Yeah, so couldn't agree more. So yeah, absolutely. So everyone, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please feel free to comment if you've got any questions for Satu. You can always message her privately on the page or in the comments here. But everyone, have a good weekend. Okay, see you later, everyone. Bye.
See you later. Bye. Thank you.